Fox News, Newsmax, One America, these three major conservative news outlets are all facing massive multi-billion dollars in total defamation lawsuits from both Dominion Voting Systems and Smartmatic. And they're facing these lawsuits because these networks allowed the lies from other conservatives about these voting machine companies to be aired on their networks at a time when, of course, the networks should have known that what they were saying was completely untrue. And so far, all of the networks have absolutely fallen flat on their face when they have attempted to get these lawsuits thrown out, which, of course, is not something Fox News is used to. Newsmax, One America, they're still fairly new. They haven't had to deal with this as much as Fox has. But Fox is in a really unfavorable position for that network because typically they can weasel their way out of these defamation lawsuits with ease. But every attempt they have launched so far has failed. And part of the reason for this, and this is why Fox News is in big trouble, not as much trouble as One America, I'll get to that in a moment, but Rupert Murdoch, who owns Fox News, also owns other outlets here in the United States. And those outlets were talking about how Donald Trump was lying about all of the election fraud, about the voting machine problems, about all this. So you've got the guy that owns Fox News, who all of his other little outlets are talking about, oh, this is all BS. But then the other outlet that he owns is out there pushing these lies and conspiracy theories. And of course, we know that Fox News hosts were texting with Donald Trump during this time, basically getting their talking points, I guess. But the fact that Murdoch's other outlets debunked all this while Fox News did not is one of the big reasons why Fox News could be in trouble. Murdoch could have easily made a simple single phone call and put an end to this before it even started. He failed to do it because it was probably better for ratings that he didn't. So that's going to lead Fox into a whole mess of trouble. But as I said, certainly not as much trouble as One America News Network. Recently, Media Matters President Angela Carusone, I am so sorry that I'm probably mispronouncing that, but this is what Angelo had to say. I think OWN is going to be wiped out from the litigation costs. Forget about any judgment. We've started seeing already them scaling back programming. They've been laying off staff. They've been cutting back the number of programs. So it's pretty clear that they don't have sufficient resources to weather a protracted litigation. So even without getting a verdict against them, the 1.3 billion, whatever it is they're being sued for, that may not be the number. That's the typical number in most of these lawsuits. Some of them are a little different. And it's kind of difficult to weed out which is which. But anyway, without the judgment at all, just having to pay for the lawyers for a network that lost 90% of their audience when DirecTV pulled them off the air earlier this year, which of course killed most of their revenue stream, they ain't got it. So folks, as this continues, as the president of Media Matters says, OWN is already struggling. When you add in the legal costs that they're about to incur, because you can't just hire, some, hey, call me, I'm your lawyer guy off TV. They got to get real good lawyers, and real good lawyers are really expensive. And they simply may not have the resources to even survive this. And based on what we've seen so far, while we do not have a trial date set for these major networks, we do have one set, for Giuliani and Mike Lindell and all that. And I think it's 2 years into the future? 2 years? OWN can't afford that. They can't afford to be paying these lawyers for several years before this thing even goes to trial. My prediction, based on all this, is that by the end of this year, One America News Network might completely be gone, and it'll just be another relic for the history books. Hopefully not a long chapter, obviously, maybe just a brief sentence, I guess, on One America's history. But hey, getting any bit of misinformation off the air in the United States, we always got to count that as a victory. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel. We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.